Okay, let's talk about a few others here. Find distinctions. Find distinctions is essentially presenting the or providing the operator with unfiltered data. Now, that's not to say that the operator always wants access to unfiltered data, but it should be available if the operator needs it. Okay. So what I mean by unfiltered data. So systems oftentimes are pulling in information, and they are processing that information, and they're presenting it to the operator. And oftentimes they're presenting the operator with processed data that's already been analyzed and assessed. Decision support tools often will do this, right? They'll take in information from the environment, and they'll make a decision, and they'll present you with their recommendation, which is, in a way, processed data. A good example of that might be your GPS system, right? The GPS system provides you with a route, right? And that route is based off of data that it's collected and it's analyzed to tell you the best way to go, right? Well, find distinction says that that's all well and good, but you should provide the operator with access to the unfiltered data so that they know what information the system was working with before it was processed. Okay. The next option down, or the next heuristic, I should say, is transparency. And we've talked about this, I think, a little bit with trust and automation. Transparency is similar to find distinctions in the example I just provided. It's this idea of providing the operator with information for how it came to its processed data or its decision recommendation, right? And this isn't always unfiltered data that it's providing. It could be providing the operator with the rules that it uses in order to come up with its decision, right? Or it could be providing the operator with its limitations, right? So letting the operator know that, hey, when we're at this altitude, I don't work so well. When we are my search engine hasn't been updated, so it's at 70% reliability. Providing the operator with transparency, just the way a good teammate, a good human teammate might say, hey, I'm a little under the weather today, I'm not functioning on all cylinders, or I only have this source of information that I'm working with, right? Providing the operator with that level of transparency is going to help the operator do its job, or do his or her job. Okay. Historic information, sometimes this is important to provide for the operator. So not just what's the current state of the world, the current state of the system, or the current state of the environment, but what has transpired over maybe the last 24 hours. And to be able to access that information, now the operator can get access to trends. So is the situation deteriorating? Has it been deteriorating over time? Are things improving? They have trend information that they can work with to help them diagnose any problems. Okay, this is just kind of an example of find distinctions. On the left here, we have a correlation. And the correlation tells us some things. It tells us the strength of the association between two variables. It tells us the direction of the effect. And certainly it's useful. And we can quickly look at this number, and we can, if you're accustomed to looking at correlations, you can quickly make some determinations about the relationship between two variables. But it might be useful, and it probably will be useful for people that have some statistical knowledge and are interested in statistics and maybe have some time to really diagnose this relationship, to provide them with unfiltered data. So this is a scatter plot. It's showing you for each participant, where does each participant fall on this distribution, and how close is each data point to the regression line, right? So you're giving the operator more information to work with. Okay, that's all that's saying. And this is just a funny sign that I think here is. I found this online, of course. Is your GPS is wrong. It's a dead end. So, this is this idea that what is the system? What is the automated system basing its recommendations on? If it's a decision support tool, how is it coming up with its recommendations? Providing the operator with some transparency so that they know what the automated system is working with. Because maybe the operator has more information at its disposal than the system. And if that's the case, that's a good thing for the operator to know. Because the operator needs to if the operator has some experience, they're going to want to evaluate the quality of the automation's decisions. And they can only do that if they have a little bit of transparency. Okay. So we got our last three indicators. I'm only going to touch on, let's see. I don't think I really want to spend a lot of time on directability and or situation assessment. I just want to touch on flexibility procedures. Number 9 here. So flexibility procedures is essentially building some flexibility into your system. To if you're a system developer, making your system flexible enough to accommodate different levels of expertise and different settings. So you know, for example, I think a lot of I think Microsoft Windows does a fair job of providing some flexibility, right? So if you're a more expert user, you can use shortcuts to get to accomplish different functions. If you can reconfigure your home page, your desktop. You know, you can make modifications if you want to. So that's essentially what that heuristic says: is try to avoid developing a system that is very rigid, because different people are going to want to use your system in different ways and at different times. So having that flexibility is important. Okay, so I wanted to share those with you because I think it further highlights the value of having heuristics if you're a usability researcher. And this is, you know, obviously this set of 9 heuristics is a little bit different, I think, than Jacob Nielsen's web design heuristics.